right, hello. Welcome to the Hold My Helmet Football Podcast. I'm your host, Will Reichling.
And I'm your co-host, Dylan Boyle.
Dylan, this has been the week of the upset. We have the Cleveland Browns upsetting the San Francisco 49ers with P.J. Walker as their starting quarterback. Then we have Zach Wilson's New York Jets upsetting the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. Then you have the Giants almost upsetting the Buffalo Bills.
Almost.
So a lot of anxiety this weekend.
Yes.
Me as a Jet fan, it ended well. You as a Giant fan, it did not end well. We'll get into that. Kind of a crappy way to end it with that missed holding call on Darren Waller. We will get started. We will get started on that very soon. But first, I would like to start with the Dallas Cowboys beating the Los Angeles Chargers. And look, I crap on Dak Prescott a lot, but he made big throws in this game when he had to. He made the plays. I wasn't necessarily excited with the play calling of Mike McCarthy, but Dak kind of overcame that a little bit. And yes, was CeeDee Lamb favored a lot in this game? Correct. But Brandon Cooks got involved now, got a touchdown. Dak moved out of the pocket, hit Pollard for that big game where Pollard took it off and broke a tackle. Dak had that read option where he kept it and ran for a touchdown. It's almost like he was watching the show this last week, Dylan, because I was saying how he wasn't running anymore, and look at him now. He looks like old Dak.
Yeah, he was very mobile. I wasn't too impressed by him. Yes, he looked like good old Dak, but he was just too CD reliant. You know, you gotta spread the love out.
What happened? Started to a little bit, but yeah, I get your point. CD was targeted a lot.
Yeah. What happens when a team locks him down? You know, then what happens? You know, I'm not convinced by them yet. They've showed a lot on defense. But this is a game that the Chargers easily could have pulled out.
Yeah.
But, it was just another Chargers week.
And that's another point. Like, what do we make of the Chargers? And, I think Justin Herbert's still a top 5 quarterback. But at some point, you have to start winning these close games. Now, a lot of it is coaching. We hate this coach. We hate this coach. Coaching. We hate Brandon Staley. I think he's underqualified for this job. He doesn't make smart decisions. It seems like he always, makes a rational decision in a key moment, whether it's going for the 4th down and them not getting it, or calling timeouts in bad situations. It just seems
Stupid
like
play calling. But
you almost felt like when Justin Herbert got the ball last, that final drive, you almost did not feel confident that he was going to go down and score.
Absolutely not.
Which is not usually how you feel with these elite quarterbacks. Like Mahomes, he gets the ball with over a minute left. You're like, oh wow, they're going to score. You don't feel like that with Justin Herbert. He's kind of been a little underwhelmed. He's great. He's a top 5 quarterback, but he's been underwhelming when it's come to success.
But that's the problem with this team. They should be a team that we think, playoffs, no doubt.
Super Bowl contenders.
But just the way that they coaching, the plays that they call, it just isn't that type of team, and that's like, there's just like that one situation where you have a team that they have all the talent you want, but they just don't get it done, and you can't point the fingers at the players anymore. You really got to start looking at the coaching staff and what you got to do internal.
Yeah, because there's no getting rid of Justin Herbert. He just signed a big contract, and he's great. You got to change the coach. The question becomes when. I still like Kellen Moore. He had a weird game yesterday, though. He was making some play calls where we were like, what? Remember that one where he's holding his head? It became a meme today, the one where he's holding his head. Yeah. I still like him. I still think he's a very capable offensive coordinator. He gets a little too cute sometimes, though. But he probably would be the next guy up for them as head coach. Back to Dallas. If Dak can play like this, that was like an A- Dak. If Dak can play like A- Dak, they can win playoff games. If he plays like that, they can win the playoff games. The question becomes, can he always play like that? Because he's very inconsistent.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. They're not consistent at all. Pollard had himself a day too.
That huge run where he broke that tackle and took off. Pollard did have a big day.
Absolutely. It's just showing that they didn't need Zeke. Pollard can get it done by himself. He's been very impressive as well. I feel like Dak's got to just see the field more and just hit more of his targets.
And I think he did a lot of that yesterday. He did. That throw to Pollard. He moved out, saw Pollard back to the left, hit him. Pollard broke a tackle, took off. The rest is history. But Dak was doing that game. And he made some big throws in that hit their final drive. The CeeDee Lamb. He had a couple big throws on that drive.
Yeah.
So
you just got to keep it up.
He's got to push it forward to next week. So now we will get into that Giants-Bills game. Go ahead, start.
Going into this game, I think everyone thought, blowout, no doubt. But, there was some parts of me that had some hope. But, dude, we went 3 quarters without the Bills scoring a point.
Yeah.
The defense stepped up for sure, but, the offense just wasn't there. I was very impressed with their defense. But
absolutely.
We could not get anything going on offense. Yeah, Tyrod Taylor looked a lot better. You could tell the offensive line was bit better, which is
they were better.
Yeah,
we
were missing 4 of our key linemen, and we were still holding them. So
I think a lot of that was Tyrod Taylor making quick decisions, getting the ball out when he had to, stepping up in the pocket when he had to. Some things that Daniel Jones sometimes could be a little unaware about, and I think that helped them. Now, I'm sorry. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Well, I was impressed with our receivers as well. You know, he was
Wandale's becoming a legit receiver,
especially Wandale. You know, I think he came back last week and he made himself known right away.
The last 2 weeks, he's been becoming a pretty good weapon for the Giants.
You know, and he kind of comes out of nowhere because you have all these other receivers. I think our main targets are Wandale, Sherlin Steppard, and Darren Waller. Those are kind of and then Hyatt as well.
Let's not forget what is his name? Sorry, I forgot. Wandale Robinson was a second-round pick last year. He just had a lot of injuries, so he always had the promise, the speed for sure. He just had to put it on the field, put it all together on the field, and now he's finally starting to do that. So that's very encouraging for you guys to have some kind of receiver step up. Hyatt had a great catch on the sideline. Didn't that count? That was a nice catch. Waller started to step up on that last drive, and look, that holding call, the non-call, that was a load of crap. Let's be honest. Yeah, they should. And he was clear. He was grabbing the jersey throughout the entire play. It's not like he did it for a second. He was holding it to the end.
The whole entire. He couldn't get his hand up. He couldn't get his left hand up.
My assumption is the ref probably didn't see it, but that brings the question back: should pass interferences and holding calls be challenged, able to be reviewed? And it was inside 2 minutes, so it couldn't be challenged, but be reviewed in general. Do you think they should?
I think they absolutely should.
Should they bring
especially
it back?
In key moments like that where if he would have got his hands up, 2 hands up, he would have caught the ball, no doubt.
And it's funny because
that's why it looked like he was trying to
exactly get right. And it's funny because the play before that same exact thing happened. They kind of grabbed his jersey. I don't know if it was the same player, but it was Waller. They grabbed his jersey over the middle. They called it, and then the second time they don't call it. So. It goes. It's a rough league,
though, because
it is
in situations like that. Screw the holding call. They should have still scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's kind of ridiculous. You had 2 chances right there, and you let it up.
Honestly, that was the last 2 seconds of the game, correct?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I probably would have just taken my. What were they at the 1 yard line? I probably would have just taken my chances running the ball.
Right?
Yeah, I probably would.
I would have trusted Barkley.
I like the play call. Waller had some separation, which is why they held him. But yeah, I probably would have ran the ball. I'm not going to kill Dable for that. What I will kill him for is what happened right before halftime. The same thing as the Jets. Terrible. Now, I think you brought up that it was an audible.
It was audible. You could see Tyrod Taylor hitting his helmet as in, changing the play. And Dable was furious. He walked right up to him and started giving it to him.
Now, I have a theory on that. I think that Dable wanted to make it known on camera that he's like a scene, likes to make a scene. Because the way he does it very dramatically. I don't know if he's just doing it to put the blame.
Throw his headset. Run up to him.
Oh, look, it's not my fault. It's his fault. Yeah, it's like I still think he's a really good coach, but
he's a great coach.
It's been a rough year for the Giants for sure.
I just don't want to lose him to the Chargers. I know
that's funny you said that because he likes the Chargers. The Chargers like him,
and I'm pretty sure he interviewed for that position as well.
Right.
So. I don't know. Dave will give us one more year, but Barkley did. Barkley started off a little slow,
that's how Barkley is though. Sometimes 1 yard, 2 yards, wears them down, and has 6-yard gain. He does that a lot. I know,
but you could tell it was an ankle injury.
He just came back.
You could tell. His cuts weren't there. But after a few plays, he was starting getting back in the motion. Back-to-back plays, we had 20-plus yards of rushing.
So I think I saw the stat. Josh Allen was terrible in the first half, but great in the second half. He kind of turned it up a little bit in the second half. Almost too little, too late, but they got the job done. You know how it's every given week, every given Sunday. So I still think the Bills are really good. They just kind of had a rough game. The Giants almost caught them there sleeping.
We should have almost got this game. This should have been a win for us, but
now speaking of catching sleeping, the Jets, man, my New York Jets.
Wow, this one caught me by surprise too.
Great win for the New York Jets. And I think the stat is the New York Jets defense has only let up 1 touchdown in the second half. 1 touchdown. This defense isn't the 85 Bears defense. This might not even be the best defense in the league. This is a pretty damn good defense. The stats don't always say, because the stats kind of say they're in the middle of the pack. Because, they continue to start off slow. Again, the Eagles offense, the first couple series, first and second quarter, got some points on the board. But then the second half, again, the Jets shut them down. And Zach Wilson did just enough, and the Jets get the victory. Breece Hall had another big day. And, I don't know if this is a sustainable formula to win, but I'll take it, man. I said with Aaron Rodgers, the Jets had to go at least 3-3 in these first 6 games, and they're 3-3 with Zach Wilson, and now they have the easy schedule.
So it's pretty weird because, like, if you guys just did a little more, you guys could have blown these guys out. You had like 4 field goals back to back. This is a field goal game. Ultimately, you guys won by field goals. And then the end of the game, the defense getting that interception. Yeah, the defense has been elite. Even though you were missing some of your cornerbacks as well.
Both our starting corners were not in the game.
Yeah, and you guys were still able to do what you did.
Crazy.
Very impressive, you know. You only wonder what would they be if they were full caliber. And I think you guys really, you know, started off very sluggish because you were missing your key. You were missing Aaron Rodgers.
They're probably a little depressed.
Was the key.
He was the glue.
Yeah.
He was the glue.
So I feel like really things could have gone either way this season if Aaron Rodgers was starting. But, you know, it gives you guys a lot of hope going into the season. And who knows, you know?
I think we got to bring that up. Doctors are saying week 12. Week 15, week 16. What do you think?
I think they're crazy.
I think they're crazy too.
I
think people need to calm down.
Age, I will say though, he does look very like he's walking around. He's, you know, a little hobble, but he's not even on the crutches anymore.
Yeah, but okay. So let's put this into perspective. What person do you know? Kind of started moving around too early on their injury, re-injured themselves. Not going to say, but it's happened to many people. And this could happen to Aaron Rodgers again.
Yeah, for sure.
So he could definitely injure himself coming back too early, especially rehabbing too quick. You know, I don't think this is going to end well.
You do just need like 2 or 3 years with him. You need 1 good year with him.
If he gets hurt during think about if he gets hurt during rehab, his career is probably over. He's probably gonna be done at that point.
Yeah, you can't get.
This is a 9 to 11 month recovery, and he's trying to push 3, 4, 5 months. That's crazy. I don't think it's gonna happen. Charlie Hart, the one we had on the show, has been calling me like, "Dude, he's coming back week 12. He's coming back week 12." It's like, Jets fans, calm down. He's not coming back this season.
Yeah, I would just give. I can give Wilson another chance.
Just give him.
Just let him.
He's been better. He's not been good, but he's been better than what he was, and they're winning games because of it. And the thing about
you need to finish in the red zone, though. That's the one thing.
Yes,
you guys
we're not.
Really do.
We're not a good red zone offense, but we have the number 1 red zone defense. That's what's holding us together.
Yeah.
And the Philadelphia Eagles. Why didn't they run the ball more in the second half?
Blows my mind.
They run over teams. The Jets don't have a great run defense. They have a great pass defense. So you keep throwing when you have the lead? Makes no sense to me.
I think DeAndre Swift ran 10 times, had 10 carries, and he had 18 rushing yards. That's pretty crazy.
They didn't even try to get him going, really, in the second half, though. They just kept throwing, turnover, throw again, turnover.
Get back to the run.
Get back to what you do best. And the Eagles have been playing with their food too much, and finally they got punched in the mouth. That's really what happened here. I don't think the Jets are great. I don't think the Eagles are bad. It was, like I said, every given Sunday. And, you know, same scenario here. Every given Sunday, Dylan. 49ers at Browns. Browns no Deshaun Watson. P.J. Walker, the starting quarterback, who they just picked up off the street, I'm pretty sure recently, at minimum practice squad he's been on this season.
And they got it done.
Got it done. That defense, I said it last week. And I said it the week before that. They got kind of their ears boxed in by the Baltimore Ravens. And I said they were missing Deshaun Watson. They got down early, and they kind of got worn out. Mm-hmm. And people were laughing at me that I put them in my top 10 and everything. This defense, you want to know a stat? This defense has let up the least amount of yards through their first 5 games since 1971. Wow. This has been the best defense through the first 5 games of the season since 1971. That's how great this Browns defense has been. So if Deshaun Watson could come back and play just decent, they're going to the playoffs. And Hunt, look how good Kareem Hunt looked yesterday, too. Not yesterday, Sunday. Look how great Kareem Hunt looked.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt. He
looked like he was back.
He came He came in and just took right off.
And can we admit Amari Cooper's number 1 by now? Because how many plays does this guy have to make before I get you on board with Amari Cooper's number 1 receiver?
He's very talented. I'll give it to you. He's definitely their number 1.
Now, on the Niners side, let's be honest, McCaffrey and Debo left the game.
Yeah.
Purdy struggled. This is the first time we've seen Purdy struggle. But he got them in field goal range to win the game at the end. And the kicker missed it. This happens a lot. You know, it was an easy field goal, but misses happen. Now, they shouldn't have even let it get to that point.
They shouldn't have, but what are you going to do?
What do you make of Brock Purdy now? Is he still a top 10 quarterback in your eyes?
Absolutely. It happens. You know, you're missing a lot of your key targets. So what are you gonna do? I don't blame him for this.
Yeah, I'm not freaking out either right now.
It's funny because last week we were gonna do a segment. What if they go undefeated? Could they finish the season undefeated?
Funny you say that. We were going to count each game and see. Okay, win here, loss here, win here. We were gonna make a whole segment out of if the Niners are gonna go undefeated. It's funny how you speak. It's funny how you speak things into existence and you jinx yourself sometimes because the very next game. Who would have saw this coming? I get the Browns.
I don't think anyone would have saw this coming. Crazy. This is the biggest upset.
Now, sure. I had Brock Purdy at 11 or 12. And I have players like Tua and Goff for my top 10. I'm going to ask you this because I know you're very high on the Lions and you're very high on Jared Goff. Who do you take, Brock Purdy or Jared Goff? Because Goff's my 10 right now. Or
I think I would go with Brock.
Brock Purdy over Jared Goff.
He just looks really special,
Okay, that's crazy because I thought
he has that it factor.
I thought you thought Goff was the man, though.
I do, but at the same time, I've just seen too many special plays from Brock Purdy.
Okay, I'm going to put boxes next to each other. I'm going to check off who's got the advantage over who here. Mobility, Brock Purdy gets that one.
Yeah.
Arm, Jared Goff gets that one. Jared Goff's got a rocket arm.
Yeah.
Size, Jared Goff gets that one. Experience, Jared Goff gets that one. Offensive line, that's down the middle. I'll keep it. Even though the lines might be slightly better, leave it down the middle. Weapons, I'll probably give that to the Niners. This doesn't really have to do with quarterbacks. It's a situation, too. Head coach, I'll give to the Niners. What else? Field vision, I would have to give that to Goff because Purdy's less experienced. Really, Goff's got the better arm. He's bigger. He's had more experience, and he's been to a Super Bowl. Purdy's also been to the NFC Championship game, but he's only had 20 starts, and he's more mobile.
I think mobility is a big key
especially in
this league.
But if you have the best offensive line in the league, like the Lions do, they could do whatever they want with Goff. So that's why Goff works well right now. If Goff was on the Jets, I don't think it would be the same result. I agree with that. But same with Brock Purdy. You put Brock Purdy on the Texans. The Texans have some players, but overall, we'll get to that. But overall, they're not the most talented team, or even like the Patriots. You put Brock Purdy in the Patriots, they're not going to be that good. He might make some plays here and there. Same with Goff. Goff would struggle. So these are both guys that are somewhat limited, but one has some perks over the other. But at the end of the day, it depends on situation.
You can't really lump him in there just because of one game. I gotta see more.
But that's why I can't call him special yet. Like you're doing, and I get why you're doing that. His passer rating's been out of this world. Other than that game in his short career, so I understand why you're doing it. But let's not forget Goff's been to a Super Bowl, and this has been a steal for the Lions. The Lions got draft picks and Goff for Stafford, and Goff's been just as good as Stafford. So it's been the Lions are set now, and this looks sustainable. So we'll get into that. This is more of a Niners topic and saying Purdy's still in that top 12 for me. So maybe not 10, but he's with weapons, Purdy is just fine, and the Niners are gonna. And if this isn't, hopefully this isn't serious with McCaffrey and Debo. Now McCaffrey has the oblique.
I just saw.
What's
recently,
Debo's?
I know McCaffrey. They just had his images coming back, and they said that he didn't sustain
any broken ribs or anything.
No, nothing like that.
Good sign. What was Debo's injury?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay, because Debo kind of gets. Debo and McCaffrey can tend to be injury prone. McCaffrey's been good the last season, but we all know Debo misses games every season, so this could end up being somewhat long term. We'll find out though. But regardless, Niners are still.
I think they still have enough targets over there to get it done.
They do. Ayuk has been great. He dropped that huge pass though. So Purdy made some plays. Ayuk dropped that huge pass that was going to be a touchdown. Right. So, but drops happen. We talked about this the other week with Lamar and all his players. So it happens. Seahawks at Bengals. I actually like this game a lot. Now, even though the second half kind of fell off. Both teams started off strong right away. I'm pretty sure both of them scored a touchdown immediately.
Yeah.
And then they barely scored the rest of the game. So Seattle had so many opportunities to win this game, and I think you could agree. Geno made some turnovers late that cost them. And
he did. He was looking really good in the beginning, though. He was dropping dimes.
The thing about Seattle, he did. He has a couple great passes. I think one was to Lockett. Mm-hmm. I agree.
That guy Bobo was going on.
Jake Bobo. That guy could play. He was fighting for yards after the tackle, after the catch. And Seattle has been terrible on third down this season, their offense, and they were terrible in the red zone yesterday. A lot of turnovers.
They had 2 chances in the red zone to score. They couldn't get it done.
And then one drive in the red zone, I'm pretty sure they got a penalty or something happened. And then Geno threw a silly interception where he kind of forced it. And you can't have that happen.
No.
And that's kind of why they lost the game. They would have to get chances into the red zone. They would either turn the ball over or have to set up with a field goal. And that's what really cost them.
Their line was collapsing a lot.
It was.
And he didn't have much time.
And it forced Geno to make bad throws. That's exactly what happened. And really, this game comes down to the Seahawks made more mistakes than the Bengals, because the Bengals did not impress in the second half. What they did do was they didn't turn the ball over as much as the Seahawks did. And that was the key.
They kind of just, punted it.
Exactly. And sometimes that's all you need. Look at the Jets. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding.
I know, but
I'm not kidding.
What if you have a team that will just, answer? Then
you're screwed.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm still a little worried about it.
I am too.
I'm still a little worried about it.
Are they 3-3 now, the Bengals? Somehow they fight back to 3-3. I don't know how, but they do it, and they're still alive somehow. So, and I still think the Seahawks are fine. Geno is a good quarterback, and he's gonna make mistakes sometimes when things fall apart around him. He's not perfect. He's a good quarterback, but he needs help. Just like many of the quarterbacks in this league.
He has plenty of help, though.
He does.
He has a great run game.
2 great backs, 2 great
Walker's
receivers.
Amazing.
Yeah. So he needs to. That's why he needs to limit the mistakes, like he did last season. He needs to do the same this season. Like I said, they're going to be fine. They beat Detroit. Let's not forget that.
Yes.
Even though that was kind of a fluky, weird game. I think they played.
They're very similar, though. I think Seattle Seahawks and the Lions are very similar.
They are, which is why it was a very close game. Now I think the Lions have the better team, the better roster, the better quarterback, but it's close. Definitely close.
For reasons why that was a close game.
Exactly. And reasons why Seattle actually was able to pull off that game, because the talent gap isn't that far off. I think Detroit's defense is better than we all thought, though, and that's what's been helping Detroit as well. So, the Thursday Night Football game, Broncos at Chiefs. I will start off with this.
Oh, my God, I almost fell asleep.
I know, 19-8. They're very boring game.
You keep on saying it. All the Thursday night games.
Now, I had my friend correct me and be like, week 1 was good this year, Chiefs Lions. All the prime Thursday night games. So that was NBC. All the prime games have sucked.
Amazon Prime ruins it.
Since the Chargers Chiefs, the first ever prime game last season, they've all sucked. That was a good game. Ever since then, I feel like they've all been terrible. It's the
prime curse. What can you say?
It might be. Now Michaels is going to fall asleep back there one day. But I will say this about this game: the Broncos defense definitely played a lot better than they've been playing. They didn't let up 70 points, I'll tell you that much.
Yes.
I think the story of this game, though, is the Chiefs' defense and how great they've been.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you with that. But at the same time, Chiefs just have not been able to perform.
Yeah.
19 points against the Broncos?
I think the Chiefs, like I said, they have this Golden State Warriors effect where they do just enough in the regular season to win, and they're not wowing you anymore because they lost Tyreek Hill. You lost that kind of wow factor now. You just have Kelsey and a bunch of almost like a bunch of scrubs. Rashee Rice looks promising. That's the only receiver that looks promising there right now. Valdez-Scantling doesn't do anything. Mm-hmm. Tony's inconsistent. Sky Moore is inconsistent. Justin Watson's had big drops.
Pacheco gets it done sometimes.
Pacheco's good. Pacheco's a weapon. Other than that, yes.
Yeah, I think it's only Kelsey and Pacheco. That's the only talent they have on the team. And Kadarius Toney has spurts.
He's a weapon, but exactly, it's spurts. It's not
moments.
consistent. And let's get to the Broncos. And is Russell Wilson, he's not the same player. Let's just be honest. He's not the same player. And
I think they're going to move off him.
How do you get out of that, though? That's the question.
I think it would be great. You draft a quarterback. He's behind a veteran quarterback. He could learn from him a little bit. And then,
I think they have to go.
Season, and then
I think you have to
have
go quarterback.
a nice trade him to another team. That's kind of desperate.
That's interesting. Would anyone want to take that contract?
Sure. I know a few stupid teams that would pick him up.
That's true. New England, no, okay. New England would never pay someone that kind of money. But yeah, he doesn't look the same as what he used to. He just doesn't make those he doesn't take the team and put it on his back anymore. He needs help, and even with help, he's still
struggles.
So at times struggles, and it's sad to watch because I thought he was a slam dunk Hall of Famer, and he's almost ruining his reputation.
Dude, he's 31 years old, and he's playing like he's 40.
Yeah, so
and he doesn't have any serious injuries either. So
no,
it's
what was it? A finger? Yeah,
finger. What really happened?
I think just
was he too comfortable in Seattle?
I think that's what it was, and I think he was just too comfortable playing the way he did, and then once he lost he had a lot of games, Russell Wilson, where he was terrible most of the game and pulled out magic out of a hat the last 2 or 3 drives. That was a lot of Russell Wilson. Now he's not pulling out that magic anymore. So now it's just what you're left with. You're left with an average quarterback.
I feel like if he was still in the Seattle Seahawks, I think he would be a lot better.
Yeah,
I think he
with these weapons. Yeah, these were his weapons. Those were his weapons. Imagine him with Kenneth Walker now too. And
yeah, exactly.
He didn't have those backs. He had those receivers.
He probably sleeping at night. He's like, oh,
I had it.
Still in the Seahawks.
It's a damn shame, man.
Yeah,
damn shame.
It is.
Ravens at Titans. This was the London game, and these London games also kind of seem to suck. Even though this was kind of exciting, Lamar
a little bit. Lamar looked.
He's
great.
having an MVP type season in my opinion, and he's been great. And Odell showed you something a little bit.
A little bit.
Nelson Aguilar's kind of revived his career too. There. Other than that, the Titans, they're just. I don't know what to make of them. Derrick Henry again.
They're like a roller coaster.
Derrick Henry is they're very up and down, up and down. Derrick Henry has shown that he's not washed and he's still great. He broke off a couple great runs in this game. But that
even last week too, he's just been he has spurts of amazingness.
And now Ryan Tannehill got hurt again. It's a similar ankle injury to last season. Now you're kind of screwed. You put him with Malik Willis, you're not the same team, even though Tannehill's not great to begin with. So now it's kind of you got to see what you got mode, and they're probably not a playoff team, but the Ravens could be a contender, so we'll see. But the Ravens still, I feel like something's still a little off with them, but I still feel like they have room to figure it out. So I like the Ravens moving forward. I don't know about how you feel.
I know, I still like them a lot. I think you just, I don't know. I feel like they aren't a team that really scores a lot of points where they should be scoring a lot of points,
but it looks good watching the game. But then you look at the box score at the end of the game, and you're like, "Wow, you thought they did more." Looking at it, because Lamar's kind of just like a magician like that. He gets just enough done, and it doesn't always look. The numbers don't always look great on paper, but when you watch the game, you're like, "Wow, this offense is pretty good." I'm
not quoting this or anything, but I don't know if they had it like a 30-point game or anything like that.
I don't think they have yet,
but.
I think they had a 26-point game against Houston, or it was like 22. I don't think they've had a 30-point game yet.
But this is a team that's
Cleveland. I think they put up 27, but again, they didn't have Deshaun Watson, so the defense probably got worn out.
Yeah. So, but this is a team that you with all the talent around, you think they would be outscoring teams that aren't that good. Well, but they haven't showed that wow factor.
They're 4-2 now, correct? I'm pretty sure they're 4-2, so I think they're going to be okay. They're still pulling out wins. They look at what the Browns defense did to the Niners, and they played pretty well against the Browns defense. So who knows?
Yeah. Right.
So okay, Panthers at Dolphins. Now I'll go through this quick because there's not much to talk about here. The Panthers were shocking us. They were up 14-0, and then Miami just took over the game and scored 42 straight points, and that was it. Then the Panthers ended up scoring another touchdown eventually.
The Panthers kind of impressed me here. The Dolphins, I don't know. It's another situation kind of they're playing with their food.
But then they end up blowing them out. Yes. Look, Tyreek Hill had another big day. Mostert is having a career year.
I was going to say Mostert is MVP-like.
Isn't he leading the league in touchdowns, or at least running backs right now? It's crazy.
And he had 3 touchdowns that game.
Tyreek Hill's having a historic season. You have Mostert having a career year. This offense is crazy right now.
You have Achane that just came out of the blue.
And he'll be back soon. He's on IR right now, but he'll be back soon.
They don't need him.
Look,
take your time.
Think about it. They were down 14. I think they're one of the first teams ever to be losing by 14 points and then go on to win by more than 21 or something like that. Isn't that crazy? It reminds me of the Chiefs against the Texans one year where they were down 20-something nothing and then went 39-20. It's like that. This is how crazy this team is. And I always say how you're defined by when you're trailing. Can you come back? And they just put on a show. They get down 14-0. They're like, no problem. And not much to say about that. Panthers are bad. We know Dolphins are good. So
no. Well, I still liked what I saw from Bryce Young.
Young. He's developing each and every week and a little better.
Adam Thielen seems to be his key target.
Yes,
it seems like he still's got it.
Kind of revived his career a little bit on Carolina. So some promising things there for the Panthers, but it's still going to be a rough season for them.
For sure.
Saints at Texans, and look, Dylan. I want to be quick on this one too. Derek Carr has disappointed me so far since he's gotten to the Saints. It's kind of been a little bit of a disaster. Not really because they still have a decent record, but their offense has not been impressive. And look, who would you take right now, Stroud or Carr? Stroud's working with less weapons than Carr. Stroud's got some nice weapons, but Carr's got more weapons, and Stroud looks better than Carr. And Carr's got the better defense too, in my opinion. So
They have been nothing.
What do you have to say for that? Exactly.
They do they'll have a few plays where they're big plays, but they just won't make anything of it.
Exactly, and that's why I'm still high. Even though the Bucks kind of got controlled by the lines, I'm still high on the Bucks maybe beating the Saints for this division, especially after beating them last week. So
and then you have Alvin Kamara, like he's slowly coming back, but he just doesn't look the same.
He's been better, but
he's better, but he. Hasn't been
not that
same
spark. I understand what you're saying. So not high on the Saints at all right now. Not high on Derek Carr right now. So Commanders at Falcons. Now this one, you picked Falcons. I picked Commanders for once. I get a Commanders pick right.
Finally, right?
But I feel like the Falcons lost. The Commanders didn't win this game. I feel like the Falcons lost this game. They had so many chances to win this game at the end. Desmond Ridder, again, too many turnovers. He throws a critical interception in the red zone. Critical. And then he throws another critical interception 2 drives later, going down the field to try and win the game behind the receiver. I think he hit 2 of his 3 interceptions were behind the receiver on slants and crosses. So he makes some good throws sometimes. And Atlanta has shown they have talent. Drake London's starting to emerge. Kyle Pitts showed something in this game. He had a touchdown. And you have Bijan Robinson playing great. They have players. They're a quarterback away. And this is not the guy. He makes some good throws.
I'm not ready to say he's not the guy.
I don't think he's the guy. He makes some good throws, but then these critical turnovers and key moments are costing them games. So I don't think he's learning fast enough. I don't think he's special enough to hold on to for another season. Like they have the play. It looks like they have the players now.
Yeah.
And that defense looks like it's a little better than people thought. The Commanders had some. Their offense wasn't terrible this game. Eric Bieniemy had a good day calling plays. They had some good schemes.
Terry McLaurin had a good game.
Had a good game. Brian Robinson had a good game. Gibson had a nice touchdown.
Yeah, once you have everyone doing their part.
Curtis Samuel had a nice day. So, yes, they had that offense when it's humming could be pretty good. But they started to fall off towards the end, though, and they let the Falcons kind of come back into the game. And they gave the Falcons so many chances to win that game, and the Falcons still chose, they didn't choose, but Desmond Ridder chose to just turn the ball over multiple times at the end. So Desmond Ridder kind of caught. He basically lost the game for them. The pick in the red zone where he just threw it up. Just threw it up. Right, and it wasn't even like, it was a terrible throw. It was a terrible decision. It was a bad throw. And, I hate knocking on guys, especially when they're this young. But this team looks like a team that could be a playoff team if they have the right quarterback. So maybe it's time to put in Taylor Heineke. You signed him for a reason. Is it time to put in Taylor Heineke?
I mean, when you have Bijan Robinson, he's just an amazing player. You can tell he's gonna be in this league for a while now. And with running backs like that, they're only going to be special for a few years, and you kind of want to get the most out of it. So I can see what you're saying. You have all your key targets. You have everything you want. But when you have a quarterback that just
turns the ball over, exactly, and like
maybe you need to start thinking about what else you can do.
If you take those throws he made and take out the turnovers, then he's fine. But Heineke kind of has a little bit of that moxie factor, like a Minshew a little bit. We saw him pull out some wins on the Commanders. Maybe he could lead this team to the playoffs. Maybe I would consider bringing.
I wouldn't say all of that.
No, I don't think he's great, but I do think he can do just enough to have this team don't turn the ball over as much. Okay, so Colts at Jaguars, and this was basically complete domination by the Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars their defense leads the league in turnovers this season. This is an underrated defense. They forced a lot of turnovers. Like I said, I like their front seven. They got the Gardner Minshew a lot, and Gardner Minshew struggled in this game. It was basically domination.
Yes,
I wouldn't even put this on the Jags' offense. It was basically a defensive annihilation of the Colts.
I completely agree with that. Minshew did not look good.
No,
I was hyping him up last week. I was really hyping him up, saying he's one of the top backs. But he struggled this game. He had some ugly throws.
Well, this is what happens this is why he's a backup. He has good games and he has bad games. Backups are just supposed to hold you over for a few games, get you some wins. They're not going to go out there and do it consistently on a 17-game basis. That's why you drafted Anthony Richardson, and it's unfortunate because it looks like he's going to miss the season now.
Be missing the season.
So now you're going to be with Minshew, who's a great backup. He's going to win you some games, but now they're probably not going to be a playoff team.
This game kind of reminded me that he's a backup.
Exactly.
That's right.
It happens. And Ryan Fitzpatrick was a perfect example. He'd have a 4 or 5 game stretch where he was great, and then he'd have 2-3 clunkers in a row where you're like, okay, this is why he's Ryan Fitzpatrick. So that's kind of how I feel with the Colts. The Jaguars defense might be a playoff, like a defense that can bring them deep in the playoffs when their offense struggles. So it's good because they have the players on the offense, and they've drafted some nice players on defense. So the Jaguars are still looking good.
And then Jonathan Taylor's starting to come back a little bit, little by little. They're giving him more targets.
Exactly. And Zach Moss has looked good. Pittman's looked good.
Yeah, no, and he was looking pretty fast out there too. So I'm still very high on Jonathan Taylor. He's still pretty young.
I think you're just trying to manifest it into the world because you traded for him in fantasy. So he's trying to sit here and manifest it. Jonathan Taylor would do good. Taylor
2 years ago, he was the best
running back in the league. So
I know. Same thing with Josh Jacobs. He was the greatest last year. He's not been top 10 this year.
Jonathan Taylor has that potential. So can he bring it back? It depends if they give him the volume. So we'll see.
Hope so.
Depends if they give him the volume.
Made a hell of a trade for him.
Vikings at Bears. Now, Tyson Bagent comes in for the injured Justin Fields. We find out he's a dislocated thumb.
Yeah.
And Tyson Bagent just couldn't get the job done.
No, not even close.
So it was a rough one for the Bears.
And
but honestly, it was a tough loss losing Justin Fields.
This is a similar game. Like the Vikings kind of just kept it in there too. They couldn't pull out the win and just dominate. They couldn't do it.
Well, I think we know the Vikings aren't that good, so that's why
they're not.
And they were missing Justin Jefferson.
They were, but they can still get it done.
Yeah, so it just shows these were two bad teams, and the one team that wasn't as bad beat the worst team because the worst team was missing their starting quarterback. So
yes, but I think if Fields was in that whole time, I think
they would have won. Yes. That's what I think too. So Tyson Bagent had a rough day. He might have to play a few weeks. It's on his non-throwing hand, Justin Fields.
No, it's with his throwing hand.
Oh, so he might miss a few weeks. So it looks like they might be stuck with Tyson Bagent. So they're probably going to lose a few more games. So they might end up in this Caleb Williams sweepstakes. They might have some tough decisions to make.
You can't pass up on
Caleb so Williams. We'll see where they finish.
But that just might leave Justin Fields on another team, and that's just fine. He hasn't proved he's not going to be a backup. He's going to be starting.
Someone's going to give him another chance. Yes. Absolutely. He's got too much talent.
Where would you put him?
Did we talk about this one week? I think perfect example. Who was I just talking about? The Atlanta Falcons. They have a great running game. They're quarterback away.
I like that too.
And they have a running style offense. He'd be perfect there. Now I heard talks of that when he was playing really bad a few weeks ago. Who's another team that would be impressive? The Raiders would be maybe a nice fit. Devontae Adams over there, but they also have a heavy run offense with Josh Jacobs.
Imagine him on the 49ers. Listen, I love Brock Purdy.
They should have drafted Justin Fields and not Trey Lance. They really missed on that. So
he would fit perfectly there.
He would. They already have kind of an RPO style offense a little bit. They have the West Coast short pass offense. Be perfect for him. So moving on. Patriots at Raiders, and the Raiders lose Jimmy Garoppolo like they always do, and Jimmy Garoppolo's made of glass. He might be missing a few weeks as well. We'll find out later about that.
It doesn't matter.
The Patriots lost to, 38-year-old Brian Hoyer. This Patriots team is not good.
I think they might be the 32nd team, best team.
They might have been the number one pick. Yes.
Honestly, Mac Jones, he just keeps on looking worse and worse.
He's regressing. There
was this one throw. He had this guy. I don't know who it was. He had this guy running over the middle, and he just completely overthrew him and threw a pick. It was
I saw bad. That was really bad. Yeah.
It was so bad. There's no more excuses for Mac Jones. I think he's done.
It's funny because we both got.
Is this another player that I don't know. I don't think he's going to be starting on another team after this year.
See, I think we had this conversation last week, and I said it would have to be a team that has everything and just needs an average quarterback like the Jets, but the Jets have a bad line, so that wouldn't happen. So, I don't know.
He's just very average, but
average.
Now he's looking below average.
He doesn't have... Exactly. Now he hasn't even been accurate anymore. He hasn't been making good decisions anymore, being turnover prone. He hasn't been a good teammate. He's been a sore loser. He's kicked people in the you-know-what. So, why would people want that?
That stigma's been sticking with him for a while.
But he's a first-round pick, and people tend to give first-round picks another chance. It just looks like his time in New England is going to be up after the season. Now, the question becomes, do you bring down Belichick with that too? So we asked that question last week.
No, he's won too many Super Bowls, had too much going on. I don't think so.
And Garoppolo can't stay healthy on the Raiders side, and I don't know.
They should have just stuck with Derek Carr.
We don't know what direction they're going in. Yeah, Derek Carr hasn't been great, but he's been better than Jimmy Garoppolo because at least he plays. I mean, he missed most of one game because with the shoulder with the Packers game, but then he came back the next week.
Yeah.
So
no, but Jimmy G's always getting hurt, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Very disappointing how Jimmy G's career is unfolded. So Lions at Bucks, and I feel like I say this every week. The Lions controlled this game once again. The Lions control every game because they run the ball effectively. Their defense is very underrated. Their defense has become stingy, and they have a great pass rush. They have decent corners now who make plays. I like this Cam Sutton guy, and the Lions are the real deal. The Lions are a Super Bowl contender.
I completely agree with that, and I think the Baker fans have kind of come back down to earth.
Maybe, but I would still have high hopes if I was a Bucs fan. After beating the Saints last week, who you're competing with in this division, you beat the Saints, you still have a fair shot winning this division. Falcons, Saints, Bucs is going to come down to the end, I feel like. So those teams are all average. Division. They're all average. Now, we thought that division would be a little worse than what it is. The Panthers have been awful, but those three teams, the Saints, Falcons, and Bucs, have been average, slightly above average.
You got two really rookie quarterbacks, so pretty much. It's still a developing, very developing, because you got Baker, you got Bryce Young,
Ritter,
you got Ritter,
then you have Carr. Then you have Carr.
So who's it's kind of like, I don't know who's the better one.
No, who's the best? Let's ask that right now. Who's the best quarterback in that division? I'll go Derek Carr. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's by process of elimination, though. I think Derek Carr's a top 16 quarterback. I think maybe he's fallen to top 20. I think
Bryce Young will still be give it 2 years from now, and he'll be very. Yes,
he just doesn't have talent. He is stealing, and what else? Exactly. Nothing so he's looked promising, and he's struggled in some games, and they're going to lose a lot of games this year, but they're going to get a high draft pick. So we'll see how that unfolds. I don't know if they traded this year's first round pick to Chicago as well, but I know they gave him a haul, and they gave him last year's first round pick. So we'll see. I think they do get the Panthers' first round pick this year, actually. So that's a little rough. So that's what happens when you try to get. So they traded up to number 1 last year. So that's what happens when you trade up high in the draft.
That's crazy. Imagine they're the last in the.
They could have went for Caleb Williams. Now then the Bears get that. Then the Bears would get the 1 and the 2 pick because the Bears have the 2 pick. Look at that. I gotta look that up later, but I'm pretty sure they do get the Carolina's pick this season. Cardinals at Rams, and the Rams defense, Dylan, has been very impressive this year. It's Aaron Donald and a bunch of young guys, and they're making plays out there.
Yeah, well, when you have a veteran like that to run the pack, I think it's a lot easier.
Yeah, a leader.
And it's not just their defense either. Their offense has been pretty elite as well.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, with Kupp back.
The points haven't always been there, but you see the yardage. They get down the field easily. Yeah, the combination of Kupp and Nakua. Kupp had a great touchdown catch. Mm-hmm. They're looking good. They're looking pretty good. Now, Kyron Williams had a big day, 150 rushing yards, and he started off slow in that game, but really picked it up in the second half. And now he might be injured. He might miss this week, but he still had a big game, and it's something to be encouraged about if you're a Rams fan. This probably is a playoff team, the Rams, and we thought they were going to be terrible, and they're not. It has to go, like we were talking about, coaching is important. Sean McVay has been so important for that team, and he shows it again this season.
For sure. I have a lot of hopes for the Rams.
Sean McVay should be a coach of the year candidate just for what he's done with this team so far. We'll see. We'll see where the Rams finish. They finished 9-8, 10-7. They make the playoffs. Yeah, he should be a candidate. Depends where my Jets finish too without Rodgers. Salah might be up there.
No, Rob Salah is definitely going to be up there as well.
So we'll see. But the Rams definitely encouraging. The Cardinals kind of struggled in this game, but this is what they are. Now, they are actually starting to falter a lot here to where they might start losing a lot of games, but you might get Kyler Murray back soon if they decide to bring him back. So that's going to be a big question mark that looms over the rest of the season for the Cardinals, because I'm sure
they're 1-4 now, right, as well?
Yes, they are. They're 1-5, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 1-5, I'm sorry. So, yeah, they could still easily get Caleb Williams.
Exactly. And
I think they're going to try to get them. Listen, I think that's been their whole plan this whole time. And they've done a pretty good damn job of it because they've stuck in every game. They have somehow lost. So they're just missing that one key factor. And I don't think it's Kyler Murray. I don't think it's Kyler Murray.
I like Kyler Murray.
I know you do.
I gotta see him play some more now because it's been so long now. It's like almost the Sean Watson effect. It's like it's like what is he even gonna look like with this team now with a new coach and everything? But
I really feel like they've been holding it off for more than it should be. Like he should be playing by now. He should be
right around now or next week or the week after. He should be back soon.
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't either. Interesting.
I don't know.
Interesting.
We'll see.
Is it the right decision to do this? Go for Caleb? I think it is. If you're going for Caleb, if you're going for Caleb Williams and trying to get the number 1 pick, absolutely. If you're trying to get one of these other guys, stick with Kyler at that point.
Yeah, I got that. But if you bring Kyler Murray back, you're winning games at that point.
You are, because we both agree that he's talented enough to win you some games.
Yeah,
not going to be a lot because of the team around him, but yes, he's got talent. I think we both agree with that. He's a talented guy. It's the attitude, it's the height, it's the decision making. Sometimes it's the Xbox.
so what if the Jets traded for him? How would you feel about that?
I would love that. I would love that. Right? But it's a little weird right now because, okay, let's say Rodgers didn't exist. Yes. Oh, my God. I'll take Kyler Murray all day. With that line, he could just run around like a little Pac-Man character.
That's what I'm saying. He would make a great fit for the Jets.
Yes. Now, Rodgers makes things a little weird because he's coming back next year. He wants to come back this year and be a psychopath. I'm not going to... Look, if he wants to risk getting injured again just to come back and play this season for me, I'm all for it. But if he wasn't in the picture, I would take Kyler Murray.
Some conflict of interest there.
But I can see Kyler Murray being a disaster with the New York Jets because of like how the media gets and how things always turn out to be a disaster for the Jets and how things seem to turn out to be a disaster for Kyler Murray as well. So a lot of weird things with Kyler Murray, which we keep ending coming back to here and there.
Because it's interesting. It is. What's happening
and
with
what
him?
is he and what are they going to do with him? So that's a good point there. Okay, so I actually had my best week, 10-5. I went 10-5 this week. My first.
Congratulations, you beat me.
And Dylan went 9-6, so I got a game on him this week. So I'm now I'm 52-41. Dylan is 58-35. So he's 6 games ahead of me. I'm 11 games over 500, and you're 23 games over 500. So good job by both of us so far. We're not looking like buffoons. Some of my picks have looked like the Bills Commanders one kind of looked like a buffoon there. Here and there, I think the Jets Patriots one.
I mean, you kind of have to have those games where you say, okay.
You can't always pick the favorite. You know what I mean? Sometimes because it doesn't always work out like that.
Especially going to show this week.
We looked stupid this week. We didn't look stupid because everyone was on our side with those, but like it just.
I mean, people would have been calling us crazy for choosing the Browns over the 49ers.
Yes, we would have been laughed at. No one would have taken us seriously.
And people would have called me homers for choosing the Giants over the Bills.
I was never going to choose the Jets over the Eagles. That was never happening.
Exactly.
They've never beaten the Eagles until this point. Which is
that's pretty good. In their whole
history of the franchise.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Okay, now time for our Week 7 picks. We are getting deeper into the season before we know it, Dylan.
Yes, we are.
This is becoming routine for us, so bam, let's do it. Let's start with that Thursday night football game, the Jaguars at the Saints.
Oh, my God. Here we go again.
Trevor Lawrence.
Another sleeper.
Another prime game. Another prime game. Oh, no. Another prime game.
It's going to be the curse. It's going to be like a low-scoring game. Don't choose the over.
We'll get to my parlay picks later, but I agree with that. Trevor Lawrence might not play in this game, but it sounds encouraging that he's going to play in this game. And their backup, C.J. Beathard, what has he done in this league? So like,
C.J. Beathard?
Yeah. He used to be on the Niners before Garoppolo got there. Well, he's actually Garoppolo's backup a few years too, but he's had his moments, but he's nothing.
I've never heard of him.
He said, no, I was like, I don't blame you. So I would go Saints if Trevor Lawrence doesn't play. But if he does play, I'm going to go Jaguars here. So we'll see.
Just the fact that I don't even know who this backup is.
Well, then you would have to, I think you're on the same agreement with me. Probably Saints if he doesn't play.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to go the same thing then. If Trevor Lawrence is playing, I'm going Jaguars. If you're not, Saints.
I think it's very dependent on that. Yeah. So Falcons at Bucks. This one could go either way. Bucks are home here. I just think the Bucks defense is underrated, and I think Desmond Ridder turns the ball over too much, so I'm going to go Bucks here.
Falcons just have too much talent. I know Ridder has been very turnover prone, but I've still seen some talent out of him. And if he can, keep his head on straight and, throw an accurate ball, I think they could win this. Bijan Robinson has just been getting better and better and better.
Top 5 running back.
Yeah.
Already.
The Bucks just,
Yeah,
Baker Mayfield,
I don't trust Baker. I think I have to say that every week. I don't trust Baker. I trust the talent around him. So.
I don't know. 2 weeks ago, you were really high on Baker.
Well, they did make the Saints look a little stupid. So
yeah, they did. Yeah.
So Raiders at Bears. Now this might be the Tyson Bagent versus Brian Hoyer game. So if that's the case, I gotta go Raiders here. Again, this is going to depend on who starts at quarterback. I think Justin Fields isn't playing, but Garoppolo might play. Regardless, I think I'm going to go Raiders here.
So at this one, you just got to look at the talent that they have on each side.
Yeah,
and. Devontae Adams.
Exactly.
He's going to get it done.
Max Crosby.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm going Raiders as well.
Okay, so we're kind of in lockstep here. Well, actually, you went Falcons, but with the two go-either-way games, we're a little lockstep here with the Saints and the Saints and the Raiders. So, Browns at Colts. Who? So, Richardson's done for the year, most likely. We don't know if Deshaun Watson's coming back. I'm going to say...
It's another backup versus backup.
Yes, so I'm going to say, even regardless of Watson plays or not, I think they're hopeful for him to come back this week. I'm going to go Browns here. I think that defense is too elite. Gardner Minshew struggled against the Lions defense last week, which is underrated, but not the Browns defense. So I'm going to go Browns here, even though they're on the road.
They struggled against a decent defense. Now they're facing the Browns, one of the best defenses, and Minshew did not look good. Hopefully he has a better
He probably will be better.
Week.
He probably will be
hopefully, better. But after that after that 49ers game, how could he not choose the Browns? I'm going with the Browns as well.
Commanders at Giants. I'll let you do this one first because I think I know which way. Because this is a go either way game.
Yeah, this is a go either way game in any sort of situation. I'm definitely going with the Giants.
It's always a go either way game with Giants Commanders. Last year they tied.
They took the step in the right direction last week. You started hitting your targets. Barkley came back. After a few runs, he started looking like the same old Barkley. So yeah, I'm going with the Giants, even with Tyrod Taylor or Daniel Jones. I feel like if Daniel Jones comes back, I feel like we definitely got this.
So
I don't want to say definitely. It's never definitely.
I don't want to say definitely. So the Giants defense has been better. Their secondary has been better. The D line has been better. I still think the Commanders have more talent on their team. I like the Commanders quarterback better than the Giants quarterback. No offense. I just think I think Sam Howell plays with this kind of moxie.
Brian Robinson is not better than Saquon Barkley.
I agree with that. Absolutely. 100%. Saquon Barkley is better than Brian Robinson.
Who's their tight end?
Logan Thomas. I'll take Waller for that. Okay. But I'll take McLaurin over at any receiver you got on that team. I like Curtis Samuel a lot. And Dotson's good. So they have a good backup, Gibson running back, which the Giants don't have. So they have more depth on their team. And D-lines, it's close, but I'll probably take Commanders D-line. Giants secondary looks a little better. But I think the Commanders are just a little better than the Giants right now. They play better against good teams than the Giants. Like, the Commanders played well against the Eagles. But the Giants necessarily, I don't know. It just seems like a game where the Giants are kind of... I think it's going to be close, but the Giants are going to struggle on offense like they usually do. The Commanders are going to do just enough, score 20, and it's going to be like a 2013 game.
If the Giants' defense could do anything of what they did last week, I think we could win this game.
I absolutely agree. They have to do that again. But we haven't seen that much from the Giants' defense, so I got to see it again, so I'm going to go Commanders here.
Fair enough.
Lions at Ravens. This is the hardest game for me to pick this week. I think it's the toughest game this week. This might be the game of the week. This is tough. I think I'm going to eat my words in this because I keep going against the Lions. And they've making me eat my words, but I have to go Ravens here. I think Lamar at home, he's going to perform. I think this is going to be the game where we look back and we say, this is the game where Lamar went on his MVP tear, and Lamar's just going to have a great game, and he might end up winning MVP when it's all said and done. So I'm going to go Ravens here. I think Lamar's going to have a big day.
So this is going to be the real test for the Lions. This will be the test to see if they were actually a playoff caliber team and if they can go all the way. Because you're going to be playing a team like this in the playoffs.
Right.
So I like the Lions for this. Lamar's kind of been putting them on their back in some manners,
key situations, yeah.
So I'm getting the Lions here.
Interesting. You said this is a big test for the Lions because they're actually going to be playing a good team. I think it's the same exact situation for the Ravens. This is the test to see if the Ravens are a good team. They're going to be playing a legit team in the Lions, legit offensive line. I think the Ravens defense is better than people think, and I think the Ravens finally have some weapons on offense to go along with Mark Andrews. Zay Flowers looks like a player.
OBJ kind of got back into flow.
Nelson Aguilar looks rejuvenated. So I think the Ravens in this scenario, I think this is a big test for them to see if they're going to be a legitimate playoff team. Because I think the Lions are more bona fide than the Ravens right now because the Ravens have injuries and it's like, how's this offense going to work together? The Lions are kind of set in stone. So I think it's a big test for the Ravens. And I think they come through at home in front of their fans. So I got Ravens, you got Lions.
I'm excited for this one. This one might be the game of the week.
That's the one I'm probably most excited for, other than we'll get to it, Dolphins-Eagles, but we'll get to that. Bills at Patriots is a divisional game in the AFC East showdown. I'm going to go Bills here. I think the Patriots.
How could he not?
This is going to be a 40-0 game.
This might be a weird game because I don't know. The Bills haven't. They always they face that team that they know they're gonna blow out and they choke. Yeah. They choke in a manner.
Well, the Bills have that quality where it's weird that they didn't do this against the Giants, but usually when they play inferior teams, they blow their doors in. They completely demolish them. The Commanders did it too. The Raiders did it too. They even did it to the Dolphins.
They didn't do it to the Jets.
No, or the Giants. But they even did it to the Dolphins.
It's the New York curse.
Right.
They can't beat their own New York team.
Yeah, well,
it's the New York.
They like to think that they're the only New York team. I hate when people say that. They're not a local team.
It's weird. They are New York, but they're not. They're not New York.
They want to keep saying that the Jets and Giants are a Jersey team. Meanwhile, we represent the city, and we're less than 10. They're less than 10. The stadium's less than 10 miles away from the city. And by the way, Buffalo, you play in Orchard Park. You don't play in Buffalo. Dallas, they play in Arlington. They don't play in Dallas. So stop getting on the Jets and Giants case for playing in Jersey. I'll move on. I digress. Cardinals.
New Yorkers here.
Yeah, we're getting a little upset about this. Two Long Islanders over here. Cardinals at Seahawks. And an NFC West showdown. I got to go Seahawks here. The Seahawks need to take care of business this week, and I think they will. They're just a more talented team.
But then again, the Cardinals usually
you love devil's advocate today, don't you?
Cardinals tend to stick in these games that they play good teams. They beat the Cowboys.
Yes.
We were very shocked about that. I'm going Seahawks here all the way. At the same time, this could be a close game. I don't think it's going to be blowout in any manner.
I don't either, but I think the Seahawks just have more talent on offense. Mm-hmm. They're starting to look like they have more talent on defense now. And they have the better quarterback, they have the better running backs, they have the better receivers. So it's just, look, if the Seahawks don't win this game, we should start to be a little worried. Because
they got to be careful, though, because they were turning over the Bulls.
Right.
Don't play like the second half. Play like the first half, and you win this easily.
And don't play with your food. Win this game convincingly. Run the ball effectively. Stop turning the ball over, and that'll be just fine. Steelers at Rams. This one's a little tough for me, Dylan. A little tough, but the Rams are home here.
Very tough.
Rams are home here. It's tough. I just don't trust the Steelers' offense. I gotta go Rams here. I don't trust the Steelers' offense. I don't trust
their offense either.
I think they get Deontay Johnson back this week finally, but still, I don't trust it.
Deontay Johnson's come back?
Yes.
Okay. Still, Kenny Pickett just hasn't been showing it.
No.
Their defense, though, on the other hand,
they've been showing it.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to see how the Rams match up with their defense. Because the Rams have been very good, and they're kind of another team I want to see how they play against a high-caliber defense.
Now, we did see them play against the Niners, and they did go toe-to-toe with them. But they haven't done it against an elite AFC team. Elite AFC defense. Now, They're not an elite team, but they have an elite defense. Now, who do you got?
I'm getting the Rams here.
Okay,
I'm getting the Rams here.
Okay. So
but this is going to be an interesting one, too.
I would not be surprised if the Steelers won at all. Would not be surprised.
Not at all.
But I don't trust them. I don't trust them.
I got to see more from Kenny Pickett. He's
got
to prove me wrong.
He's got to start to improve, not make one throw every game. You need to make more than one throw. You need to score more than 17 points. At this point.
Like, you don't have a running. Najee Harris is not good. He cannot get the job done.
No.
You can't just, run it with Najee Harris and just throw a few balls.
They're not a good running team, and it's starting to show. Chargers at Chiefs. AFC West showdown. I would go Chargers here. I might do when the Chargers are home, but the Chiefs are playing at Arrowhead. It gets very loud there. The Chargers seem to always choke in big moments, like they did last game when Herbert threw the interception at the end of the game. Like Herbert a lot, obviously, but it's going to be a tough one to go into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs, so I'm going to have to go Chiefs here.
So I don't think the Chiefs have really played like a high-caliber team. They played the Broncos, but
They lost to the Lions by 1 point, but they lost nonetheless.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. I'm going the Chargers here. The Chiefs just have not been impressing me. They don't have that it factor.
Do you trust Brandon Staley to coach a good game here and win them that game? Because I don't trust that guy at all. I trust Andy Reid. I know that. Brandon Staley scares me.
Especially after that Cowboys loss. That's a game they should have won. There's something going on with the coaching staff, but I feel like they're gonna come in and be ready to play the Chiefs. They know what they're going to be playing against.
Yeah, because they're the divisional rivals.
Yes,
right.
So I'm getting the Chargers here. It should be an interesting one.
Oh, this is going to be a showdown for sure.
Yeah.
Packers at Broncos. Now, I've not been crazy about the Packers the last few weeks. I think they had a bye week last week. But before that, wow, they have not looked good. But the Broncos look even worse, so I have to go Packers here. I think the Packers have a better overall team. I think hopefully Aaron Jones gets back to old Aaron Jones and starts to get some big plays. So, and maybe Watson makes a play or two, and that's the difference. So just don't turn the ball over, Jordan Love.
I just feel bad for the Broncos, honestly. Like, everything has been going wrong for them.
Yeah. Yes. What can go wrong will go wrong.
Yes,
especially
absolutely.
for the Broncos.
Yeah. I don't know what's. I'm going Packers here.
I don't think we have a choice. It's just like how can we trust the Broncos? You can't.
Honestly, there's not a team that they play that I wouldn't go against them.
Even
tell me one team that they
the Jets
beat
are probably that one team. The Jets are probably that one team. The Bears maybe, and then I think we chose the Broncos in that game. That was the one game that we chose the Broncos over the Bears, and then now the Bears are playing better. But I think that was the one game that we chose Broncos. What else? Vikings maybe. Panthers probably.
Panthers.
Maybe not though, because the Panthers have been promising the last couple of weeks. So I don't know. But let's get to the main game that we want to talk about this week coming up. Sunday Night Football, Miami Dolphins at Philadelphia Eagles. This is I think this one actually is. We've been saying a lot of games are going to be game of the week. This is the game of the week right here. Yeah. Who do you got, Dylan?
So you got two defenses that aren't really that good. There's going to be a lot of scoring in this game. I'm going with the Dolphins. The Dolphins just have been they've just shown a lot, whether it's with Tyreek Hill throwing the ball, whether it's with these out of nowhere running backs that just you didn't know you had. Your Achane, I don't know if he's going to be playing or not. I don't think so. But
he's
either way,
IR.
Mostert has just been elite.
Yeah.
Having himself a season. So I like the Dolphins here. The Eagles just haven't really blown out a team and haven't. They've kind of been, slowing down a little bit.
So I like the Eagles' defense better than the Dolphins' defense, but this Dolphins' offense is insane. It's good. Look, this is tough for me. I just think the Eagles haven't been playing up to par this season, and I think they're going to get kind of punched in the mouth here by Miami a little bit. Now, but what I'm worried about Miami is they can't let this game get too physical. They got to stick with what they do best, with their little crosses, Tyreek Hill over the middle, their speed. They got to get around the edge quick. Don't let Philadelphia get into a pound-for-pound match with you. You're going to struggle. If they start to run the ball effectively down your throat and make this a grudge match, it's going to be tough for Miami. But I think Miami sets that edge. They get around the corner. Mostert has another big day running the ball. And I think the offensive line holds up, keeps Tua upright. So I think the Dolphins win this game.
So if the Eagles get back to what they were doing and start running the ball, yes, they could win this game.
Exactly.
But otherwise, if they did what they did against the Jets, they might get blown. I don't want to say blown out.
They probably won't get blown out, but they could. By Miami, very well possible.
Yes. You know what kind of confused me a little bit? They picked up Julio Jones, a 33-year-old Julio Jones.
A little bit of a head scratcher there.
Yeah, definitely.
But let's think about it. Who's their number 3 receiver? That guy's Zacchaeus? Are we missing someone? There's Brown and Smith, obviously.
I mean, Goddard is enough.
Well, yeah, he's a tight end, but yeah, that's your 3. That's your 3.
That is your 3 right there.
And Julio Jones looks like he's kind of getting to the point of washed, But he had some promising plays on Tampa last year.
Was he even on a team?
I think last year he was on Tampa, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but after that, he wasn't signed.
No, he hasn't played yet this season.
Yeah.
Now, he made some promising plays on Tampa. I remember him diving for 1 touchdown. He had a couple plays, but he gets hurt a lot at this point in his career.
Yeah.
It can't hurt the Eagles. They have the players. It's not like they desperately need him. Okay, last but not least, Monday Night Football, 49ers at Vikings. Now, we don't know if McCaffrey and Debo are going to be playing.
It doesn't matter.
No. 49ers all the way here.
Yeah. Vikings have been sticking in these hard games, too. Like, there was a 7-point games with the Chiefs. But the 49ers, I feel like they're going to have something going for them. After losing to the Browns, they're going to come in and they're going to have a game plan.
Yeah, absolutely fired up. And the Vikings are still missing Justin Jefferson, so it's going to be rough for them. And that 49ers defense is pretty vicious. So I think Kirk Cousins is going to struggle here.
He might struggle. You don't have your key target. But like I was saying last week, they still do have targets.
They have Hawk, they have Hawkinson, they have Osborne, they have
Osborne.
Addison. So they have weapons. Madison's been better, I guess, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough with Kirk Cousins, and that defense is not good. So, I how do you not go Niners here? Now,
how do you not?
Watch. If the Vikings win, I'll shave my head. I swear to God, but I'll shave it this way.
Okay, I'm holding you to that.
I'll shave it right down the middle. Should we shake on it? I'm not shaking on that. I'll keep my fingers crossed behind my back.
I'll get you to sign a contract on that one.
Honestly, we'll see. Maybe we'll hold that true. If that's funny. So we'll see. I don't think it's gonna happen though. So, but we will see. It. So those are our picks. We'll see what happens. We've been good this season with that. So hopefully we can keep it up. We just don't want to look stupid out there. We don't. You've had some really good weeks. I finally had a good week.
Finally.
So finally.
It was about time.
Now, what I know you guys have been waiting for, you guys love this segment, is our Thursday Night Football parlay picks. So, Dylan, I don't know if you want to do any announcement on the little betting videos you want to announce?
Yeah, we'll do it. So, we're going to do a little segments we're going to be posting them on Saturday. I'm going to be doing a 4-legger for all the slots. So, we're going to be doing a 4-legger for the 1 o'clock slot, a 4-legger for the 4 o'clock slot, a 4-legger for the Sunday night game, and then a 4-legger for the Monday night games. So stay tuned for that one. That's gonna be full.
That's gonna be full on exclusively Dylan. This takes up a lot of time. So Dylan's got some free time. He's been bringing up the idea to me. I've been thinking about doing it with him, but I figured why not let Dylan take the solo project. And he won his bet. I'm not necessarily the best bettor. I'm more of like a pick'em guy. But so it's going to be exciting. Hopefully Dylan does a good job. Hopefully we gain some more. Look, any content's good content. I guess as long as we're not getting in trouble or anything. But
everyone loves their gambling. Everyone loves their
exactly.
parlays.
It opens us up to a whole other part of this show where we can start talking more about betting. I know we didn't talk about that a lot in the beginning, especially over the offseason. What are
you betting on?
Exactly. So now we're getting into that. So I'm very happy Dylan's going to be doing this, and hopefully he can take it far with that. So let's see where that goes, Dylan. So let's get into our picks. Last week we had the Broncos and Chiefs.
Yes.
Now
weird game. This is why our parlays are
wacky game, and it's always funny because before the week, you always think how one thing is going to be a certain way, and then after the game, after the week's over, you're kind of like, what was I thinking? And I kind of feel like that with this. So Cortland Sutton had 40 plus receiving yards, so that I hit. Over 44.5 points, I missed that very badly. I think it was only 37 points.
Oh, yeah, no.
Kelsey, anytime touchdown score, missed that. The Broncos' defense was better than I thought this week. Broncos plus 14.5, I hit on that. So it was within 2 touchdowns, but
it's two for four. Not bad. Same thing, 2 for 4. The Broncos plus 10.5. They were 11.
Yeah, so
1 point off.
Didn't get that.
Patrick Mahomes 3+ passing touchdowns. I looked straight up stupid on this one. Only had 1 passing touchdown.
Low scoring game.
Yeah, Jerick McKinnon over 14.5 receiving yards. That hit. He had 20 receiving yards.
Solid.
Cortland Sutton over 3.5 receptions. He had 4 receptions. Hit on that. So 2 for 4, 2 for 4. Don't get yourself a 4 for 4.
Yeah, no. This week it would be 2 for 4s, and my friends, that does not exist. So don't go to the Wendy's and ask for a 2 for 4. They will probably laugh at you, or they'll just, I don't know, they'll tell you to keep the line moving. I don't know. I used to work at Wendy's. I don't work there anymore, so don't ask me.
A little backstory, huh?
That was my first job actually at 16. I was not a good worker. I think I got fired for something stupid.
Oh, God.
Okay, so for our picks for next week, Jags at Saints. Now Trevor Lawrence might not play. He might play. Makes the betting a little weird this week, and it kind of makes me not want to do a lot of Jags bets here. So I have one, but most of it will be for the Saints, so we'll go over it right now. So I got Travis Etienne, anytime touchdown scorer. He's kind of been on fire. He's been getting touchdown. I think he's gotten touchdowns since consecutive weeks. Yeah. So he's kind of been on a tear here. So I think he's going to continue in this game. Under 42.5 total points. Look, Trevor Lawrence might not play, and if he does play, he's probably going to be a little limited. Mm-hmm. Derek Carr has been limited just in general, so I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think both defenses are underrated, and they hold this game in check, so under 42.5 seems realistic. Chris Olave over 61.5 receiving yards. This could be hit or miss for me, but I think Derek Carr's going to rely on him a lot. He's starting to get really hot. Also, Chris Olave's been making some great catches.
That's a little scary, though, because he was slowing down a little bit.
He was, but I think this might be his breakout game. Mm-hmm. This guy is special. He's always getting open. He's a great route runner. He's got great hands. I like Olave in this game a lot. Derek Carr under a touchdown and a half.
Oh, wow.
Now, I just haven't liked him this season. I think I'm pretty sure in 3 or 4 of his 5 games he only had 1 touchdown or none. So I like this one a lot because I haven't been crazy about Derek Carr, and I think Jackson's defense is underrated. Like I said, I like their front 7. The secondary lacks sometimes, but their front 7 makes up for it with pressure. So, and they turn the ball over a lot. So I don't think Derek Carr is going to get more than a touchdown pass. So
okay, I also had the same thing. Travis Etienne for anytime touchdown.
Oh, nice.
He's just been that it factor
on the tear.
He's been a lot better this season. I really like him as well, and that's why actually I have 2 of them. So the next one I have is also Travis Etienne, longest rushing yard, 14.5 yards. I like this one. The Saints do have a good D line, but at the same time, Travis Etienne just has been getting better and better every week. I like what I see from him, and I think he should get this. Then I have Rashid Shaheed over 34.5 receiving yards. Rashid Shaheed is the man. I feel like every other week I'm seeing some crazy catch from him. It's weird, but with this offense, you just always see a really long pass.
And he's that guy that gets that usually. So
yes, exactly. The next I have is Derek Carr under 235 passing yards. Now, The Jaguars defense has been pretty elite. They've been stopping a lot of pretty high caliber offenses, so I can see them shutting down Derek Carr. Derek Carr really hasn't been this season.
Yeah, we're both low in Derek Carr. We both picked his unders. I picked his under touchdowns. You picked his under passing yards. So we're not high on him.
No, not at all.
Okay, so just to say that again, I have Travis Etienne, anytime touchdown scorer, under 42.5 total points. Chris Olave over 61.5 receiving yards, and Derek Carr under a touchdown and a half.
And then I have Travis Etienne, anytime touchdown. Travis Etienne, longest rush, over 14.5 yards. Rashid Shaheed, over 34.5 receiving yards. And Derek Carr, under 235.5 passing yards.
Okay, Dylan. So we are about to hit week 7. So week 8 we'll do our power rankings again. So after we got 2 more weeks till that, I think eventually I want to do a top 10 quarterbacks. We could do that.
And receivers too.
Yes, running backs.
Receiver one is very.
The receiver one was interesting. The running back one's kind of all over the place because it's like for the running back position's been very scarce this season. And you see that in fantasy.
Listen, I think I have Bijan Robinson as my number 1. No matter how you look at it.
Well, what about McCaffrey? Dude, you love that guy. Yeah.
Okay, number two.
Look, that's not an unrealistic take. He's been a top 5 for me for sure. Derrick Henry's still up there. He's been great. Other than that, who else has been an elite running back this year? I mean, Eckler's great, but he's been hurt. It's really been a toss-up, But
Tony Pollard.
Pollard's been quiet this season.
He's been quiet.
He's been good, but quiet.
Spurts. Barkley
been hurt.
He's been hurt. I mean, but the time
Brees Hall's been great, but he's young. He's young.
Definitely going to be up there.
Yes, he's top 10, but I don't know about top 5. Kenneth Walker's been great.
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, so there's some good running backs.
Travis Etienne.
Etienne's been great. We're just naming all the running backs now. All right, I think we're all done here. Thanks, Dylan.
Yeah, good episode.
See you guys next week.